What kind of work excites an INFJ? What do you do that causes you to get so caught up in the moment that you lose track of time? What do you feel like you were made to do? We'll answer all three of those questions in today's show. Before we dive into work that excites you, I have a free gift for you called the INFJ Personality Guide. I wrote this book to help you understand yourself, reach your potential, and live a life of purpose. I want you to know that as an INFJ, you're not messed up or broken, but just different. In this book, you'll learn about your 4 Myers-Briggs preferences: introversion, intuition, feeling, and judging. And then you'll dive a bit deeper to learn about the mindsets that drive you as a person. Finally, the book wraps up with an overview of some ways that you can develop your gifts, overcome some common problems, and reach your potential. I'd love to give you a free copy of this guide, and you can get one by texting the letters INFJ to the number 444999, or you can visit the link ispeakpeople.com/INFJ-personality-guide. I came across a quote the other day that stopped me in my tracks. It read, "INFJs prefer to focus in great depth on one thing at a time, which can result in periods of single-mindedness." That quote got me thinking about the kind of work that I love to do as an INFJ, and consequently, the kind of work that you'll love to do as well. More specifically, I'm talking about projects. Here are 5 reasons you and most INFJs enjoy them. The first reason you probably enjoy projects is because in the driver's seat of your personality is a mindset called introverted intuition. And introverted intuition is a learning mindset that loves to understand the deep mysteries of the universe. It loves to research and it loves to gather information and understand why the world works the way it does. I think this is why one of my Strength Finder strengths is learner, and I bet that's one of your top strengths as well. Every good project begins with research because you can't create until you have the appropriate amount of information, ideas, and background you need to do the project right. A good project is research-driven and well thought out. Maybe you've had the experience where you were looking something up online, or you got caught up in a book, and all of a sudden you looked up and 3 or 4 hours had gone by and you'd forgotten to eat lunch. This is because you're doing what you're made to do, and most INFJs love to find out more about a topic of interest. The great thing about projects is they require this kind of work, and this kind of work fits a project really well and helps drive it along. Along with giving you a chance to research, projects also give you the opportunity to be creative. And deep down inside of you and in every INFJ is a love for creativity, because that same mindset excels at making connections. And when you boil creativity down to its most essential parts, it's really just taking pre-existing ideas and connecting them in ways that they've never been connected before, or in ways that no one else has thought of. And you as an INFJ are made to do that sort of thing. You're original and you have somewhat out-of-the-box ideas. You're visionary, and you can apply all of these gifts in the context of a great project. As I alluded to before, projects also get you into a state of flow. And all flow is that place where challenge and interests are at just the right level that you get lost in what you're doing because you're enjoying it so much. Another factor is that you have just the right amount of environmental stimulation. I don't know if you've ever been in a setting where people are talking loudly and the music is blaring and it's hard to concentrate. That's probably not your genius zone. But if you can get into a quiet environment like the library or like a home office or wherever you like to do creative project work, chances are high that you're going to be able to focus and really enjoy what you're doing. And that's when you get into a state of flow, when after about 15 to 30 minutes, you start going and you are producing at a level that you couldn't produce otherwise. It's almost like you shift into your highest gear and you're doing what you're made to do. A good project gives you the environment that you need to solve problems, to synthesize, to envision and create, and to do it all without interruption. You know, you, like me, probably really enjoy being with people. But because we're introverts, we also need this alone time. And having a couple hours to spend by ourselves fuels us and gives us the energy we need for the day to connect with others. Other people may make you feel guilty about spending this time by yourself creating and might think that you're too particular and are out of sorts when you get upset when people interrupt you. But this is how you're wired to work, and I want you to think about this in a positive light. It's not wrong, it's just a different way of processing, and it's good to know how you're wired so that you can lean into it and be as productive as possible. And then later when you're finished, you can be intentional about connecting with others. I didn't realize this fourth point until more recently, but you and I as INFJs desire a certain level of autonomy. We like to control the when, the where, and the why of our work, as Jonathan Milligan of Blogging Your Passion has put it. Ideally, you probably want the freedom to work at home or at a Starbucks or Panera or wherever you like to work, and to work when you want to work, either early in the morning or later in the morning or maybe in the afternoon into the evening, and then to choose what you want to work on, whatever kind of creative project you're into at the moment. Now, of course, it's going to have to meet people's needs and be practical to some level, but it's just a great feeling when you get to choose what you're working on. And another aspect of autonomy is that we want control over the process and the product, as T. Gruber and Tiger have put it in their book, Do What You Are. In most settings, a supervisor will assign you a task and then give you a deadline for it. On top of that, you're probably working in a noisy environment where people are interrupting you. So in the end, you feel frustrated because you're crunched for time and you can't really give the project the attention that it deserves because you've got to work on another project. So you end up with substandard work, which drives you nuts inside. Now, I'm not saying that your work is substandard compared with others. It probably meets or exceeds the expectations in most situations. What I'm saying is it probably doesn't measure up to your own high personal expectations. So when you get to work on a project that you choose in your way and in your time at your location, you can control how the final product looks. You can make it measure up to your standards. And that, my friend, is a very satisfying thing. The fifth point and final point is that projects lead to a sense of accomplishment. As much as you're an open-minded, learning-focused person, you like to get things done. There's that J, or judging, preference at the end of your personality. So in the end, you can have creative ideas, but you can't sit on them indefinitely. You're going to feel best when you take action and you accomplish them. And that's what's great about projects, because unlike tasks that you have to repeat daily and that are going to come up again, a project has an endpoint where you can check it off a list and you can get it done and you can celebrate the accomplishment of it. So especially when it's a creative project that you worked on, it's a wonderful feeling when you can look back on it and see the great work that you've done that measures up to your standards. In fact, looking back on your work will boost your confidence and motivate you to do even better work. That was definitely the case when I wrote my first book and when I launched a podcast. I look back on those moments with joy and gratitude. I bet you can say the same for some of the projects that you've worked on. Working on projects for a number of reasons that we talked about today will feed your INFJ heart. So don't put them off. Embrace them. They're important. And as you look for work that excites you, it's really important to find the kind of work that'll enable you to work this way. Thanks for watching this video. I hope that it helped you understand work that excites you so that you can really lean into it and do your best stuff and enjoy what you do. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing that. I'll be creating new videos every week for INFJs just like you. And finally, if you haven't grabbed a copy of the guide, make sure to text the letters INFJ to the number 444999. Or check out the link posted right below this video. It'll take you to a page where you could download the guide directly. See you next time.